Oh, I didn't see you there. Such an emotional moment. It's a week away from Free Comic Book Day, or allergies, one of the two. So we're here at the birthplace of Free Comic Book Day, Flying Colors Comics and other cool stuff. Look at the cool stuff around me. So I figured, going into year number 15, let's get the history, the origin of Free Comic Book Day. Not from me. You guys hear me all the time on Wednesdays and Sundays. If not, and you're just discovering us through the YouTube channel, go to thegeekspeakshow.com. Every Wednesday, every Sunday, new episodes on there. But I'm not the one that came up with the idea for Free Comic Book Day. That was Joe Field, the owner of this fabulous store here. So I'm going to have him come on now and tell you the origin of Free Comic Book Day.
Back in the olden days, I wrote columns for a retailer trade magazine. It was a controlled circulation magazine that went to comic book and game retailers every month. It was called, not surprisingly enough, Comics and Games Retailer Magazine. Well, I was trying to make deadline one month when I saw a line out in front of the store and didn't know what the line was for. I went outside and found out that it was for free scoop night at Baskin-Robbins. And I thought, wait, if ice cream can do it, we can do it, because the only thing cooler than ice cream is comics, right? So I wrote a column and I kind of laid the whole thing out. And when the column was published, I also was able to get Diamond Comic distributors to post a response to it in the same issue, because I knew if I didn't do that, then it would probably just be another idea that went wafting off into the wind. Diamond liked the idea. We had meetings. We put the meetings together, and we decided at one of those meetings that the first Free Comic Book Day should be the same weekend as the opening of the original Sam Raimi Spider-Man movie in 2002. Well, at the time, what we were dealing with was a market that had been reeling from the mid-90s to the late 90s, but from about 1999, 2000-ish, up until the time that I wrote that column, which was mid-2001, I'd really seen a resurgence. I'd seen the publishers focusing more on stories and good art and great content, and then hoping that those would drive sales. But what we were seeing was we didn't have any way to invite a lot of people in to see all this stuff, to know what was going on, and to just jump back into comics, because comics were great again. So that was really the impetus for it. Just seeing that there were all kinds of good things going on in comics, but we needed an invitation to those people who either used to read comics or had never read comics. That now was a great time to get in and see what was going on. Oh, I think the first one was something that we just had no idea how things were going to go. We really didn't know whether what kind of crowd we'd have. We didn't know anything really. It was really almost like a proof of concept kind of thing. Will this work? And I think we wound up with maybe 700-ish people coming to the store, and that was well more than what we normally get on a Saturday. We turned it into a party from the very beginning. We had Libby's brownies and the cakes and the punch, and we had terrific guests with Mick Gray and Jason Doobie that year. The template for how we do Free Comic Book Day was really established that first year, and it's continued ever since. Well, that year was the comics industry had never seen anything where 1,600 or 1,700 retailers got together to do something all together on the same day, where the whole industry was really pulling in the same direction. And Free Comic Book Day was really the first instance of that happening, and it's only grown since. So it was for me, it was great to get the feedback, obviously, because it was my idea, but to know that we were also making a difference for a lot of comics retailers. But not only that, is that we were successful in creating that invitation for people to come in and check out how great comics are, and that's never stopped. Well, I think the goal is a continually healthy comics market, and over the last 15 years, we've seen that. We've seen the longest period of sustained health in the comic specialty market than we've ever seen in the history of the business. So that's really important. But also looking at some of those benchmark numbers, total number of people who come to a free comic book day events anywhere around the world, how many comics are being given away, how many stores are participating, what the publishers are doing to step up and create some engaging content. All of those kinds of things every year seem to be working pretty darn well. So can we improve? Yeah, we can always improve, and that's what we try to do. But from the very beginning on through, it's been nothing but growth for Free Comic Book Day. Well, there's never been a total 100% buy-in on anything in comics, and Free Comic Book Day is no exception. I know there were a number of retailers who were miffed that they would have to buy these comics to give away, even though the comics are sold to us at a reduced price, and that they would have to buy certain things in order to qualify to be a free comic book retailer. I made phone calls to a number of retailers that weren't participating to ask them why, and I got all kinds of crazy reactions to, why should I have to buy comics to give away when I've got thousands of ones that I haven't sold here already that I could give away. There's probably a reason why those thousands didn't sell, but there's the beautiful thing and the frustrating thing about comics retailers is that we are all renegades. We're mavericks who do things our own ways. No matter how many thousands of us there are that many thousands of different ways to run a comic shop. And so there's some retailers, frankly, who just don't like being part of something that's bigger than their operation and don't want to be told how to run their business. And it's not that we're doing that, it's just that we're creating an opportunity and then they can do whatever they want to with it. So over the course of these years, we've seen more of those retailers join up and become a part of Free Comic Book Day, because honestly, if you're a comic book retailer and you're not doing Free Comic Book Day, you're not really a comic book retailer. Well, one of the ways that I've seen it grow over the years is we have more and more countries around the world that are participating, and we're now at something like 65 plus countries that are going to be participating in Free Comic Book Day in 2016, and more than 6 million comics are going to be given away. That growth is continuing. It's almost like Free Comic Book Day is exporting American pop culture throughout the rest of the world, and I think that's kind of cool. Oh, 15 year where we are now, 15 years into this thing. First off, sales promotions don't last 15 years. That's just the way. Look at any other business, look at any other industry. Sales promotions just don't last that long. So there has to be something more to it. And I think with Free Comic Book Day, what we've done is we have made this an event. We've made it a holiday. We've made it something that people look forward to on an annual basis. And you can't say that about a year-end sale at your local car dealer, or buy 12 get one free at the donut store. It's Free Comic Book Day is really a holiday that people can celebrate. They can have a lot of fun. They can meet friends. All kinds of great stories have come out of Free Comic Book Day. I've heard that some people who have met in line at Free Comic Book Days have now gotten married and are now bringing their kids to Free Comic Book Days. So all of those kinds of things are pretty cool, and it's I'm grateful for all the work that Diamond Comic distributors, the publishers, and especially all of my retailer compatriots are doing to keep Free Comic Book Day alive and vital every year and growing every year. If you're coming to Free Comic Book Day, bring a friend who doesn't read comics, because that's the way this whole thing works. If it was only about dyed-in-the-wool fans, this would have really died a long time ago. So bring someone who doesn't read comics along with you to a Free Comic Book Day event and get them into it and show them what's going on.
My name is Marty. I've been working here for a long time, having a good time doing it. Well, what I think of is just the crowds in general. It's a lot of fun. A lot of people are showing up, having a really good time. We're giving away, lots of free comics, and it's just really cool to see so many people excited to be here. It's really fun. I only knew about it through our shop before I worked here. I actually worked next door at a different shop for a little bit, and that's kind of how I found out about Free Comic Book Day. And so I just came over, talked to an employee who used to work here, and he just hooked me up with some free stuff. It was cool. I would say the dedication. We have a lot of customers who we kind of refer to as the FlyCo Faithful. Just a really good group of guys. Not just guys, of course. We have lots of great lady customers too. But I would say the dedication of our customers is just really great. We have customers who show up really early who just love to be the first in line. And you don't have to do that, but it's okay. And they get really excited to do it, and it's really fun. And when they burst through the door when we first open, they're super excited. But I would say our customer base, the dedication level is really high. Also, we're pretty lucky that I find that we have a really open-minded customer base too. Like, a lot of elements of nerd culture can be kind of exclusionary, and I don't really feel that we face that very much, which is great. We welcome everybody here, and I think everybody just feels welcomed, which is nice. I would just say being open-minded, being accepting, understanding that there's a lot of different people out there with a lot of different needs and interests and things that they enjoy, and making sure that you communicate well with people, that you can find recommendations for all different types of people. I really pride myself on being able to kind of tailor my recommendations depending on the person's needs and what they seem to be interested in. But yeah, just getting a good idea for what your customers are like, that's, I think, really important, and you can kind of play off those things. But yeah, being accepting and open-minded, I think are really important qualities in making sure people have a good experience and can find stuff they enjoy.
Hi, my name is Casey. I have, yeah. I used to be a customer all the way in line whenever I could walk, or from the beginning of, ever since I could walk, my dad has brought me to Free Comic Book Day. That's a good question. I guess just pump it up. Just really show female readers that there are a lot of good stories that don't just have to feature females. Like, there are a lot of great titles out there that don't necessarily always have those females, the female leads. So, I mean, really just find something to get everybody interested in. Yeah, it's going to be a little different being on the opposite side. I mean, I kind of know what goes on behind the scenes now. My other coworkers have pumped me up. They've kind of gotten me ready. But I don't know, it's going to be different. I'm kind of excited to see the different sides of it. Just seeing all the people just lined up, getting ready, just bringing everybody in.
Anna Morgan. I've been here a little over 6 months now. Oh, most definitely. I've been reading comics probably since when I started high school was when it first, came into my peripheral and was like, wow, this is great. More books to read, pretty much. I have. Actually, I came here a couple of times in cosplay and was out there mingling with the kids and everything. It's always really fun. I'm really excited to see all the kids, honestly. For me, that's the best part, is interacting with them and seeing new readers get into comics.
Hi, I'm Jeff Bonivert, local cartoonist. Probably the first year that it started, I come to Flying Colors pretty regular, and this is the birthplace of Free Comic Book Day, so couldn't avoid it. I was hoping for early Spider-Mans, but I did my research and found out what was going on. So yeah, I was in on it. I think so, yeah. On Free Comic Book Day, it's like everybody that reads comic books in the area shows up all at the same time, and that has to bring in new readers. I would advertise, I would market, I would put a sign in the window. It can be anything from a sign in the window to something in the local papers. And of course, the good old internet is good for getting the word out. I think they understand what the product is. But to talk to them on that level, yeah, you go to the internet and they pick it up off their phone or laptop or whatever they're using. But then they come in and they understand. They're not opposed to paper. They don't hate paper, but and they might ask themselves, well, can I get that book online and read it online? And that might be an option. But I don't think they fear paper and staples. They can find my work in Graphic Classics, and they can find me on Facebook, where you'll see a lot of my current work in progress. And you can find me mostly right there,
I forget the amount of years. I have to give you the comic book event. It was the Death of Superman. It was the first time I ever came to Flying Colors.
When was the first time you heard about Free Comic Book?
It was the first year Joe came up with it. I was here.
How did you hear about it?
Through him. I come here every week, so.
Now, when you first heard about it, I'm sure the first thing that got you excited was the word free. But what was your first reaction to Free Comic Book Day when you first told you about it?
I thought it was awesome. Any vehicle to get comics out to the people who don't usually get them and can see how cool and awesome they are, I think is a great idea.
From what you've seen, is it achieving those two goals?
Oh, yeah, I think so. I mean, every year the line, at least for this store, is longer and longer and longer. And the people that I'm in line with There are, some of them are first timers. They're like, yeah, we just heard about this. We want to check it out. So yeah, I think it's absolutely successful.
Obviously, a big event for Comic Book Day, but not the publishers, the retailers, not just Flying Colors, 'cause that's I think, the exception. But other comic book stores, what can they do to bring in more readers, new readers especially?
Oh man, that's a good question. I would just say try to market. Free Comic Book Day is a great idea. They should, if they're not doing that, they should get on board and do it, because that seems to bring in the people. Like you said, free, right? That's the word. So that's a good idea. Just marketing, get out there, work for your community. I know Joe does a lot for Concord here, so they should do that. Anything to get the people in that aren't usually readers, that aren't the ones that come every week. That's a bonus. That's a good success. So
now we're going into year number 15 of Free Comic Book Day.
Yeah.
Moving forward, 15 and however many more it happens, do you see it staying about the same, petering off somewhere, or do you think it'll grow even bigger?
I don't think it'll peter off. There might be a tipping point where it stays the same. I don't think it'll peter off. I mean, you can't get better than free. I mean, come on. So that'll always draw them in. I don't think as long as the comic book companies come up with innovative ideas, as long as comic book movies are out there that brings the kids in, I don't really see it petering off. Staying the same, maybe. Hopefully it'll keep growing.
So there it is, your prelude to Free Comic Book Day 2016 at its birthplace, Flying Colors Comics, and other cool stuff. The cool stuff, of course, next week is going to be the free comic books. Now, we took you on a walk through the stores, Baskin-Robbins, everything that's here. It's empty. You could play anything, throw a Captain America shield through the thing. You want to hit anybody. Next week, you'll see that it's almost San Diego Comic-Con type of crowds. You'll see that it will be here. Free Comics will be here. Hulk Smash Brownies will be here. Everything will be here. Hopefully, you're going to be here too. If you're not in the San Francisco Bay Area or in Concord specifically, check freecomicbookday.com, put in your zip code, and see if your locals are participating. They should be. It's a worldwide event. Everybody takes part in this, and it's not just whatever comics. If you're sitting there wondering, I don't know, they're just gonna give me a little free comic book. No, actual events. One of the biggest, Civil War 2 from Marvel Comics, is kicking off next week on Free Comic Book Day. Not tied into the movie, but yeah, those of you who have read the Civil War comic book storyline, this is obviously the second part of it, the continuation of that, Civil War 2, so that kicks off there. Those of you who are waiting until August for the distinguished competition for that other movie, Suicide Squad has a free comic book for Free Comic Book Day next week. And there's something for the kids, something for horror fans, something for everyone. So we, the Geek Speak Show, will see you next week right here at its birthplace for Free Comic Book Day 2016.